Welcome to the Modified Atkins Manual for Adults with Epilepsy. Thank you for choosing Toronto Western Hospital's Diet Epilepsy Clinic for your treatment and care. This is part 2 of the manual where we will discuss common questions and concerns about the Modified Atkins diet. In this video, we will cover the following commonly asked questions and concerns. How to manage ketone levels when they are too high or too low. Facts about fat, as the MAD is composed mostly of fat. Facts about protein, in terms of how much protein you should eat and examples of good sources of protein. How to read the nutrition facts table for carbohydrates and how to identify hidden carbohydrates. And lastly, we will discuss sugar substitutes on the MAD. Many patients become worried when their ketone levels are too high or too low. We will go through what you can do to bring them back to the target range. Let's start with an important friendly reminder. Your ketone levels should be checked at least once a day. Once you've figured out the number by comparing the color on the urine strip to the color chart on the packaging of the ketosis bottle, record this number in your ketone and seizure chart. The ketone and seizure chart will look like this. Record the date, time of day, number from the ketosis color chart, and the number of seizures you have experienced. This should be done on a daily basis. Now, what do these numbers mean? It is important to remember that your ketone levels should fall within the range of 4 to 8. But you may experience extremely low or high levels of ketones. It is important to understand what you can do to bring your ketone levels back to the 4 to 8 range. When the color on the urine strip matches the color under trace or small, you need more fat in your eating plan. Some examples include adding sour cream, avocado, or mayonnaise to your meals. You may contact your dietitian for more suggestions. When the color on the urine strip matches the color under large, 8 or 16 plus, drink 50 milliliters or about 1/3 of a cup of apple juice or orange juice. This brings your body to a safer range of ketones. After you've done this, wait about 30 minutes and test your urine again. Why would you experience high ketones? High ketones can sometimes happen if you've eaten too much fat, been sick, or dehydrated. Some signs of too much ketosis, in other words, high ketones, are rapid breathing, irritability, unusual fatigue when you feel tired all the time, vomiting, also known as throwing up, or you may experience facial flushing, where your face may appear warm and red. Moving on to the second topic. As many patients say, the MAD is so high in fat. Indeed it is. Let's go through facts about fat. The fat you are eating is used only for energy, so you do not have to worry about fat building up in your arteries and heart, or that you will gain weight. On the MAD, you are allowed to consume both saturated fats, such as cheese and butter, and unsaturated fats, such as peanut butter, avocados, and fatty fish. We want you to consume more plant-based fats, such as vegetable oils, versus the animal fats. That means you must avoid processed snacks such as cakes, cookies, pastries, biscuits, and crackers, as well as fried food. Try to limit how much processed meats you eat. This includes deli meats, sausages, salami, hot dogs, and smoked meats. Now that we have talked about fat, let's go through facts about protein. How much protein should I eat? If you have a protein source at each meal, that should meet your nutritional needs. Aim to have your protein source take up 1/3 of your plate. You should not increase how much protein you eat because you are eating less carbohydrates. The focus should be on increasing the amount of fat you eat on the MAD. What are good sources of protein? Some examples of food with protein that you can eat regularly include eggs in any style, all poultry, including chicken and turkey, all fish, including salmon, trout, and sardines, all shellfish, including oysters, lobster, and shrimp, all meat, including beef, pork, and lamb.
Although beans, legumes, soy, and dairy products like milk and yogurt contain protein, they also contain carbohydrates, so they must be avoided. For example, milk is a high protein and calcium beverage, but has a fairly high carbohydrate content.
Patients sometimes have trouble understanding how to read the nutrition facts table for the grams of carbohydrates. Another common concern is hidden carbohydrates. Let's first address the first concern by reviewing the key steps of reading a nutrition facts table for carbohydrates, so the next time you are shopping, you have them memorized.
The next few slides will go through an example of the following steps presented here. Let's review the steps before going through an example. First, you find the serving size on the label. Next, you find the total carbohydrate content. Following that, you find the total fiber content. Then, you calculate the net carbohydrates by subtracting the fiber content from the total carbohydrate content. And always remember, you can eat no more than 20 grams of carbohydrates each day. Find the serving size on the label. It is at the top of the nutrition facts table. If you eat more than one serving, then you have to do some math to figure out how many grams of carbohydrates you are eating. If you have one serving, 2 tablespoons, or 30 grams, then the total carbohydrate content and fiber content is what is shown on the nutrition facts table. But if you are to have 2 servings, 4 tablespoons, or 60 grams, then the total carbohydrate content and fiber content is double what is shown on the nutrition facts table. Second, you look at the number beside the carbohydrates tab on the nutrition facts table. This will tell you the total amount of carbohydrates in the food or beverage. Remember, you have up to 20 grams for the whole day, unless your medical team has told you another number. Make the most out of the 20-gram daily limit you have. As we learned in our previous slide, for one serving, it would be 6 grams of carbohydrates. For 2 servings, you would double the carbohydrates from one serving to get 12 grams of carbohydrates. The third step is to look at the number beside the fiber tab on the nutrition facts table. Fiber is a special type of carbohydrate that does not get digested in the same way as other carbohydrates like sugar does. We must subtract the grams of fiber to get the net carbohydrates, as fiber does not have an impact on your ketone levels. Again, look at the serving size. If you're eating more than one serving, multiply the grams of fiber found on the nutrition facts table by the number of servings you eat. For one serving, it would be 1 gram. For 2 servings, it would be 2 grams. For one serving, the carbohydrate content reads 6 grams, and the fiber content reads 1 gram. The net carbohydrates would be 6 grams minus 1 gram, which would equal 5 grams. If you were to have one serving, you would have 15 grams of carbohydrates left for the day. For 2 servings, the carbohydrate content will equal 12 grams, and the fiber content equals 2 grams. The net carbohydrates would be 12 grams minus 2 grams, which equals to 10 grams. If you were to have 2 servings, you would have 10 grams of carbohydrates left for the day. It is important to read the nutrition facts table on all food purchases you make. This includes preservatives, sauces, and flavorings. Don't assume any food is low in carbohydrates.
What if a food has no food label? When you start your eating plan, you will notice that some foods do not have a food label. Foods without labels include most fresh produce, such as fruits and vegetables. To figure out the carbohydrate amount when grocery shopping, look at the frozen version of fresh produce. You can also speak to your dietitian for resources on MAD-friendly fruits and vegetables with their specific carbohydrate amounts. There are also reliable websites such as Calorie King or Fat Secret to help you find out how many carbohydrates are in foods with no label.
How about hidden carbohydrates? Many have asked, how will I know? The first tip is do not buy foods or drinks with ingredients ending with OSE, such as maltose, fructose, lactose, and dextrose. You must still check the grams of carbohydrates in the nutrition facts table. If you choose that food or beverage, these ingredients are considered carbohydrates and would count towards your 20-gram daily limit. The second tip is do not trust labels on food and beverage products such as sugarless, sugar-free, no sugar added, or low carb. You must still check the grams of carbohydrates in the nutrition facts table and look at the ingredients list. Be careful with these products as the front of package label may be untrue. Well, how about sugar substitutes? Common questions that have been asked about sugar substitutes include, since I cannot have honey in my smoothie, what is the substitute? Since I cannot have white or brown sugar in my coffee in the morning, what can I use instead? You can choose to have artificial sweeteners, as they will not be used or absorbed by the body. This will give you the same sweet taste and usually taste sweeter than honey. The safest sweetener is stevia. Try to stick with using only stevia. That concludes part 2 of the Modified Atkins Manual for adults with epilepsy. Thank you for watching, and remember, if you have any further questions or concerns, please reach out to your medical team. I would like to thank all the contributors who made this video possible.